Hey everyone, Joey here, aka Animus, and welcome to another installment in my vinyl collection series. It has been a very long time since I filmed one of these. It's been 9 months now, but after making one of my heaviest, most in-depth and intense videos that I've ever done, I'm really feeling like doing something a little bit more chilled out. Also because I've got 2 days until I'm going on holiday, so this will also be a little bit more of a brief installment. So in order to make it brief, let's just get going. So we're on the M's currently, starting off with Meredith, Fibs, one of my favourite albums of 2019. It's this totally unique, explosive blend of orchestration and electronics and kind of off-kilter, jazzy sort of music theory. It really doesn't sound like anything I've heard before. It's a super vivid, visceral, colourful experience that I would totally recommend. I was lucky enough to see this whole album performed live at the Barbican with an orchestra, which was an absolutely unbelievable, unforgettable experience. This is also I believe it's called the Winter Winds edition, which is like slightly marbled white, so that's lovely. Actually found this in a £5 sale, so I couldn't resist picking this up at all. Got some Joni Mitchell, courtesy of my mum. I have Blue and Clouds. Blue is honestly one of the most beloved classic singer-songwriter albums of the 70s and of all time, probably, for fantastic reason. Chances are you've heard it already, not much that I can really add to the conversation on this one, to be honest. Just captivating, human and beautiful, something that probably every vinyl fan should own in their collection. But Clouds has some equally fantastic material on it. I absolutely adore Chelsea Morning and Both Sides Now in particular. What a lovely sleeve as well. On a very different note, I've got 4 records from Monty Python. I've got the album of the soundtrack of the trailer of the film Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Monty Python's Contractual Obligation album, Live at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane, and the Monty Python Instant Record Collection. I've got all these fairly recently, and comedy records are not like a thing I generally put on, but I think all of these, I'm a big fan of Monty Python, and I think these, they've all got these kind of inventive sleeve designs and little hidden jokes. So this is the only one I've got around to listening to so far, and also has one of the coolest and most unique sleeves in my entire collection. Oh my god, I'm not gonna get this right. I don't want to break it. There we go. So it just turns into this gigantic box, and you can pretend you've got even more records than you got. Although I won't be needing to anytime soon, since my collection is positively overflowing. Got some albums from the Moody Blues, sort of on the softer side of progressive rock music, I guess you could say. Sort of like fairly adventurous music, but also unpretentious and kind of warm in a nice, inviting way. I've got Days of Future Past with London Festival Orchestra, some lovely orchestration on this one. To Our Children's Children? Yeah, that's the correct number of children. Widely considered one of their absolute best. On the Threshold of a Dream, which has this pretty extensive booklet here with a whole load of like story and lyrics. It's pretty lovely, immersive stuff, as is this nice big gatefold image, kind of fantasy sci-fi vibe going on here. And also Seventh Sojourn. My Bloody Valentine, Loveless, one of my favourite albums of all time, perhaps, honestly. I have recently, I guess if you consider like a year and a half ago recently, I mean it is since this album was released in 1991, I've recently just fallen in love with this thing. The original shoegaze album, and the best in my opinion. This is a recent reissue, which is on this lovely kind of, can't remember the name, it's a special kind of really lovely thick, sturdy sleeve design, and it's an all-analog cut, which sounds absolutely fantastic. A beautiful, intense, overwhelming, otherworldly experience of an album, and it's so shiny! Got Neo Gaia Legend, which is a mixtape of tracks from different artists on the 100% Electronica label, who went on the Neo Gaia Phantasy Japan tour. So it's a whole load of stuff in the Vaporwave vein, but it's a little bit more kind of lively, upbeat, and and poppy than, you know, the sort of slushier, more ambient side. Got Death's Dynamic Shroud, Equip, HCMJ, R23X, and Vaperror, and it's really, really beautiful. Gary Numan, The Pleasure Principle, an absolute stone-cold classic of synth-pop and new wave music. Every track bangs and is filled with unique personality. I'm sorry, this inner sleeve is absolutely hilarious. I definitely enjoy putting this on every now and then, and I have immediately made myself feel like doing so. Like Oldfield, Tubular Bells. This is a very well-known album from all the way back in 1973. Mike Oldfield's a bit of a mad genius multi-instrumentalist. The list of different instruments he plays on this album is absolutely insane. It's just one big LP experience, with each side being a 25-minute half of this one grand piece. Definitely felt like something I should have in my collection. The Orb, veterans of ambient house and techno and whatever they feel like doing. I absolutely love this band to death. Here is my favourite album of theirs, their debut, The Orb's Adventures Beyond the Ultraworld. A mahoosive 2-hour extravaganza, literally designed for you to feel like you're being gradually sent further out into the far reaches of space and other galaxies. Introduces you to their super distinctive mix of spacey ambience and samples and beats swelling in and out, and their unique sense of humour. Still pretty much a one-of-a-kind experience in the world of electronic music that nothing's ever quite matched. One to sit back and experience all the way through in the dark. And they've also got their follow-up, UF Orb, which goes a bit more in a sort of danceable, percussive direction. This is actually an original pressing from 1992. Also fantastic stuff. And they just have a little 12-inch single of their track Toxygen. Definitely one of their hookiest cuts. And this is the point where I would show off all my Orbital vinyl, Orbital being one of my absolute favourite bands of all time. But I collect so much Orbital stuff in general that I'm honestly thinking that once I've sort of made my collection feel a bit more complete, I might make an entire dedicated video to all of that stuff, vinyl CDs and all. So I'm going to put that on hold for now, but I would like to know if you'd be interested in seeing an extensive breakdown video, because I would certainly be interested in making it. And spoiler, one of them is the most treasured and valuable record in my entire collection, so that's something to look forward to. Going back into the sort of new wavy direction, I have Architecture and Morality by OMD. This is not in good condition. I'm not sure why I bought this one. It's kind of falling apart. I do like this sleeve with the little window. Really creative, huge sounding, impactful album. Probably one of the most important albums of that whole scene. Got a nice sort of trip-hop down-tempo type compilation called Organized Sound, which my aunt very thoughtfully bought for me, so thank you. And I got 2 Pet Shop Boys album. I have Actually and Please. I think I've only played each of these once. I should put them on more. It's a Sin and West End Girls. How could I forget? Probably the 2 tracks you're most likely to know them for. I have, of course, a whole bunch of albums from Pink Floyd. Animals, one of their absolute best. Super memorable album art to the Battersea Power Station here. This is a nice, thick, sturdy reissue. Dark Side of the Moon, which is actually a second press from the 70s, which my uncle very kindly gave to me, and this is one of the most valuable albums in my collection. I'm super, super lucky to own this. There's been this whole sort of Dark Side of the Moon is a bit overrated movement, and I feel like it's not. I do agree that they have other records which should be in a similar kind of conversation, since they're on a very similar level. Such as Wish You Were Here, which might just be my favourite Pink Floyd album overall. It's a gorgeous, expansive, heartfelt set of tracks. Very proggy, but a very cohesive and impactful experience. I did a full review of this like ages ago, I'm now just realising, and I did in fact give it a perfect score. And this is another pretty valuable first pressing, as is Ummagumma, which is not one of their most popular albums by any stretch of the imagination. 1 part studio album, 1 part live album from their very early days, 1969. honestly, I have a pretty great time with this album. I think it's very psychedelic, very experimental, and a bit all over the place, but honestly, like 90% of the ideas it explores I find to be pretty compelling and enjoyable. I'd say don't sleep on this one, personally. And finally, I have the Wall original pressing. Super minimalist sleeve design here. Of course, pretty monumental double album from 1979. It has its very strong defenders, and a few detractors as well. Honestly, I really need to give this another proper full listen with my undivided attention, because it's been quite a while, and honestly, if I give it the attention it deserves, I feel like this could grow on me even further, even though my feelings are already very positive. It's just a lot to take in, to be honest. And I think I'll close out this video with The Police, Regatta de Blanc. Some pretty iconic stuff on here, very unique blend of reggae with pop rock. Some super catchy and memorable tunes on here. I feel like I got Message in a Bottle stuck in my head for about 3 days straight at one point. But anyway, that's where I'm going to leave this vinyl collection series at today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I won't be able to put stuff together for a while now, but once I get back in England, I hope to continue putting out some new projects. So until then, thank you for watching. See you next time.